Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt. I'm here with the newly refreshed 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLE. It's got a new face, it's got new technology, so we're going to see today if it's at the top of the heap. So special thanks to our friends at Mercedes-Benz of Milwaukee for letting us play with the car today so we can hit the highlights, the best and the rest, starting with the rest. Number one is, this thing's kind of expensive. This is probably the biggest hurdle for GLE buyers. The truest competitor to the GLE, of course, is the BMW X5. And the GLE, even in base form 350 like we have here, it's the turbo 4-cylinder, costs almost as much as the base X5, which comes with a turbo 6-cylinder. The X5 was also freshly updated for this year and starts at $67,500 for xDrive all-wheel drive. The GLE 350 with 4MATIC starts at about $63,000. From there, the prices climb fairly quickly, as there are 6 different powertrain options that you can have on this GLE. They range from a 4-cylinder like we have here to AMG V8s and plug-in hybrid. And just FYI, you might see a few different prices for MSRP, because as of the recording of this video, you can't even go and build one of these on the Mercedes-Benz configurator on the website yet. So, pretty exclusive access. And secondly, we're going to talk about fuel economy. You know how I just said that the BMW X5 as base starts with a turbocharged inline 6-cylinder, whereas the GLE starts with a turbocharged inline 4-cylinder. Well, for 2024's, the GLE now gets the same 48-volt mild hybrid system from the GLC we just drove, and fuel economy is marginally better. However, even with that mild hybrid system, the GLE is getting 23 mpg combined with 4MATIC all-wheel drive. And the only problem with that is the X5 with 2 more cylinders and another liter of displacement is getting 23 mpg in the city. What that means is less of a dig against this GLE. For something this size to still get 23 mpg combined isn't bad. It's more impressive though what BMW's been able to do with that B58 straight 6 to maximize fuel economy and power. And number 3, we're going to talk power and performance. As you could probably guess from what we were just talking about, the X5 does in fact make more power, in addition to being more efficient. The X5 is rated for 375 horsepower, while the GLE gets the same engine and same tune from the GLC that we just drove, which means 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. So over 100 horsepower down from the X5. Which means the X5 gets to 60 in under 5 seconds, and the GLE here is getting 60 closer to like 7 seconds. However, the GLE is way more focused on luxury and smoothness, which seems like a good time to start talking about the great things going on with this GLE. So let's get to that. The first thing we're going to talk about is the advanced tech that you get here. Now, if you just step into it and you look at the design, it's kind of hard to tell that anything's really changed much for 2024. However, when you start to dig into the screens and play with some of the tech here, it's very obvious that this thing's running the latest and greatest from Mercedes-Benz. Here now you get an updated MBUX system, which now includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It doesn't move to the vertical touchscreen we've seen in the GLC, C, S, and S-Class, but you get an incredible 360 camera with an AR-style view. And the 360 cameras also function as security recorders to capture any incidents that you might run into. You've also got AR navigation, which we've talked about before, and that's tied into the screens and head-up display, which is optional. You've got telemetry and off-road status screens, and you've got your Mercedes door-mounted seat adjustments, or you can enter your height and let the car take care of the adjustments for you, something we originally saw on the SL we tested last summer. And of course, you can get a wireless charger in here too. I mean, there really isn't much of anything that you can't get here on this GLE. Number 2 is the drive. It's also pretty great behind the wheel here. It may not have the power of the X5, but everything about this GLE is designed to be smooth. The engine works in tandem with the 48-volt system to smooth out the start-stop process, and smooths out gear changes and how you pull away from a light or a stop sign or whatever it may be. And then your Mercedes-Benz 9-speed is incredibly smooth to the point you can't even really tell that it's shifting from 2nd to 3rd to 4th and so on. And for 2024, you again now have that 48-volt mild hybrid system, and power comes in at 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet, which means, like I said, 0 to 60 in about the low 7-second range. But again, it's more about the luxury and the ride here, which is why every GLE gets adaptive suspension as standard. Also, every GLE is electrified with at least this 48-volt system here. And every GLE comes standard with 4MATIC all-wheel drive, aside from this base 351. But ultimately, yes, this is a smoother, quieter, and more luxurious driving experience than you're going to get in the X5. Nice job. And number 3, we're going to talk about interior space. Now for 2024, this update hasn't changed the footprint at all, which is a great thing because this GLE, especially in the back seat, is leagues larger than the X5. The rear seats are several inches larger than the X5 here. They're bigger and more comfy, and they feel palatial with the panoramic roof. They're so big, in fact, that you can even get a third row on the GLE, but personally, I'd save that for the GLS. You get rear air vents and optional climate zone back here if you want as well. You can also get heated rear seats in the GLE, but the trunk is also bigger than the X5. Not as dramatically so as the rear seats, but you still get a 40/20 folding rear seat, and you get grocery bag hangers back there. The small caveat being that the plug-in hybrid versions of this GLE will eat a little bit into the trunk space with the battery. Weirdly though, there's no way to drop the rear seats from the trunk, but every GLE gets a hands-free tailgate, so that's pretty cool. Hands down, one of my favorite things about this GLE is just how spacious and relaxing it is. And number 5 won't really surprise anyone, but we're going to talk about how your brand new Mercedes-Benz SUV is loaded to the gills with a bunch of luxury features and comforts. You've got heated and cooled seats up front, you've got a heated steering wheel, and you can even get heated rear seats on this GLE. And you can, if you really want, option heated and cooled cup holders, which is just the coolest thing. And you also can option massaging seats here on this GLE, and seat kinetics come standard. And of course, you've got your panoramic roof option. This may be more money than the X5, but I can definitely see where it's going. And this GLE isn't just luxuries and a bunch of fancy chrome. This thing has a bunch of muscle to back it up. Every GLE that you buy can tow up to 7,700 pounds, which is insane to me because that includes this GLE 350 with the same engine and tune as the GLC, which tops out at 3,500 pounds. Also, and importantly, that 7,700 pound tow rating, that matches the max that you can get from the Chevy Colorado pickup truck and the max that you can get from the GMC Canyon pickup truck that we recently tested in California and North Carolina. This is an impressive, muscular little thing. In 7, we're going to talk cabin design. Now, this is where the update for this GLE is a little bit more subtle, well, a lot more subtle than we saw in the new generation GLC. This GLE stays largely with the same cabin design as last year, but now with an updated steering wheel and a couple more trim details. But that's fine with me because I really liked the GLE interior and I like it here too. You've got huge dual screens. I love the Porsche Cayenne style center handles. Also, this is what I like about Mercedes. Their interiors feel more special and unique than the X5s. Maybe the BMW has a better powertrain, but every time you step into this GLE, you're going to feel more special, even before turning it on. The whole interior is rimmed with gorgeous ambient light everywhere that does dances and even has function effects to tell you things like what your climate controls are doing. Hands down, Mercedes has the best ambient light in the business. You've got elegant bright work for your Burmester speaker covers, you've got a new steering wheel which looks fantastic, and it all comes together to make you feel like your money went way further for you here in this Mercedes than it would in the BMW. And finally, we talk about the exterior design because it too got a refresh for this year. For starters, your new grille is a little bit more rounded off, but also now includes mini MB star elements for AMG line specs like we have here. You've got updated LED headlights as standard, and your lower fascia gets a little update as well. And of course, you can see we have all black accents here with the night package. And around the side, you have a couple new wheel options. The profile at large is the same as last year, and the overall length is identical to the X5. You do have chrome treatments for your door handles even with the night package here. And then your rear end gets a set of updates too, like revised taillights. I was a big fan of last year's GLE, and I like the subtle improvements and details that they've worked into this newly updated and refreshed version. It's a handsome SUV, and you too can be handsome with some new sunglasses from Blenders this summer. Discount code in the description below. So there it is, the best and the rest of the new 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLE. As you can tell through the course of this video, I found a lot that I loved about this car, and I struggled to ding it on much of anything outside of fuel economy. So with that, it kind of just means it's a really good family SUV. So again, thank you to my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Milwaukee for letting me have a go, and we'll see you in the next one.